Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, fellow students. Let me start by apologizing. I'm not going to be able to share my video because a lot of us are experiencing load shedding, and sharing my video might actually weigh on their connectivity. My name is Sharon Debele. I'm going to be the program director for this event, but then I will not be working alone. I will be with Ms. Mpahlele Mathatsi, who's going to take over from me after the second speaker as well. So without any further waste of time, let me welcome our student counselor from Houghton region based in the Val to do our opening and welcome. Ms. Dipale, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me welcome you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start by greeting you all. Fellow students, distinguished guest speakers, it is an honor and privilege for me to welcome you this morning. I strongly believe that by the end of this workshop, you will be well equipped and be able to write your CVs, your cover letters, and be prepared for job interviews. Okay, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you the guest speakers that we are having today. That is Ms. Tolang Namo, Ms. Tipe Nunu, and a representative from PricewaterhouseCoopers. Ladies, you are welcome. Students, you are welcome. And I would make a mistake by not acknowledging and welcoming the program director, Ms. Tebele and Ms. Mpahlele. You are welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Over to you, program director.
Thank you so much. What a better time to have this kind of workshops and conversations. We will be well equipped, I promise. I will be for the corporate world because yes, it is very competitive and we feel and we need our students to actually be well equipped. Thank you, Ms. Dipala, for such a productive opening as well. Without further waste of time, I would like to welcome one of our own again to give us the purpose of the day. Mr. Mekoa, is he online? Mr. Mekoa, please. Yes, he is online. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues and fellow students. And thank you so much for this opportunity afforded to me. Can you hear me? Please give me a signal if you can hear me, colleagues. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharon, and the colleagues and the fellow students. Today we scheduled this session just for our students, and we also want to thank our speakers who are going to be coming to speak in the welcome address by Meji Pale and my fellow colleagues, the admin officers, the interns, and the counselors available here. So we just want to thank you for this opportunity. So I'm just here to tell you about the purpose of today. Today is all about you students. It's all about you asking questions. We understand the need for employment and available opportunities in South Africa. We understand there's so much unemployment in the country. We have graduates sitting and not being employable. Sometimes it's not because you don't have the right qualifications. It could be how you present yourself, how you approach the interviews, how you prepare yourself for the world of work. Remember, your qualifications is theory, and some of our qualifications, less than 10% is practical. You don't even know what to expect in the world of work. So when you go out there looking for jobs, you need to know what you are looking for. So we have industry experts who are going to be guiding us on what to look out for, how to prepare ourselves, what to expect. We have colleagues from DCCD, Osnonu, who will also be touching on other areas, how to prepare yourself for the upcoming interviews and job search, what to look out for. And one thing that we also need to look out for is the scams that are out there, because lots of people have fallen into scams of people recruiting them, and then you find that there's human trafficking. They are recruited in industries that are not even legitimate. So you need to be careful of such. So ask any question. There's no wrong question, And even if the information that you have that you know, share it with us so that we can see how we can help you. We are based in Florida ourselves, and we have an organization that we're working with who told us also about scams of people being recruited by agencies only to find that it's human trafficking. People are into drug industries, they are into prostitution and the like. So you need to be aware of such things, because us being too secretive and not telling our relatives or our family members where we are going for interviews, it could lead to the end of your life. So you need to be careful of such things. So we need to be cautious. You need to research those companies that you're going to. You need to look out for the loopholes out there. Some things, they say if it looks too good to be true, probably it is. So you need to check. Don't be secretive. Some previous years, we had a client who came who had 2 job offers, and one offer was for the overseas, and they were promising to pay for everything, for their flights, for everything else. And it looked so good to be true that you have not yet been hired by these companies, yet they are willing to spend money on you. What is it in for them? So be careful. We don't want to see you being arrested in an international prison, and then there's no one who can access you or you can get assistance. So we are asking that you ask questions, you probe, you investigate, you also research and Google those companies and check who else is working in those companies. When you're going for international companies, can you also check if the South African embassy is aware of such companies, if they do exist? Can you check the employment record of such companies? There's exploitation in other countries where they will be making you work overtime hours. You don't even have access to fly back home. If you lose a family member back home, you can't even attend their funerals or attend to your parents who are sick. So such things are what you need to look out for. If you're going for local, you need to check the employment record. You need to check the opportunities around the benefits, the challenges, especially alongside the human rights issues. So today it's all about you students. It's about your CVs. It's about you presenting yourself. What qualification do you have? How to make yourself employable? What are the mistakes to expect that we are always doing when we go for selections? So ask those questions, and our experts who are going to be speaking will be willing to listen to you and address your challenges. With that said, I just want to thank you. And then please, there's a chat box platform where you can send your queries, ask questions. If you know of employment opportunities, scams that you are aware of, send them through to us so that we can help you to check if they are legit or not. Thank you so much, colleagues, and I wish you all the best for today, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Meko. I was indeed moved. Human trafficking is a very serious concern in our country, and this is exactly how they do it. They capitalize on the ones who are weak, the vulnerable. And if you're looking for a job, of course, what a better way to get a person, because you are very vulnerable and you need that job. Yeah, I was moved. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I was actually moved by what he's just said. What we can do is to actually request the next speaker, who is Miss Tippett, one of our own from Gauteng region, to come and present to us, actually highlight, you know, I have a lot of questions with job search. I don't know about you students, but I do. In terms of job search, why are we looking for jobs and not getting them? Why are we applying and not getting them, you know? But then I guess she can answer a few of the questions that we might have as well. So she's going to be addressing job search. Ms. Tipper, the floor is yours.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, students. All right, let's see what we do have here as far as job readiness is concerned. Right, the most important thing about looking for a job is to plan ahead. You know when you are going to graduate, and you don't actually wait until you graduate to start looking for jobs. If you are writing your final exams, one can start looking for a job then, and then obviously in your CV you will indicate that, or on your cover letter, the person who's going to do the cover letter, maybe we'll talk more about that. You can indicate that you are currently writing your final exams, and then the recruiter or the employer will know to wait for those results, or to request them when they need it. So you need to be organized and spend time on the internet. Spend time, dedicate time in a day, however many hours you want to be searching, because obviously you don't want to just search haphazardly. Find, it's like going outside and walking to go look for that job physically. You need to know when are you going and where are you going. You can't be going in all over Pretoria looking for a job in one day and then you do it again tomorrow. You're gonna burn out. So just as much as you want to start searching for jobs, dedicate some time a day. If you do it twice a week, then dedicate time, and when it's time to search, you sit down and you do just that. So that schedule is important. Determine how many hours, like I said. Create and update your profile on professional networking websites. What am I saying? For example, let me talk about these websites. There's a lot of them. When you go to Google, for example, and you search, you just type in there on Google job search engines. You'll see, you will get Career Junction, Indeed, LinkedIn is there, job.com, Career Builder. It's a lot of them. Just make sure that the ones that you use are South African based. For example, you have Zip Recruiter. That's an United Kingdom search engine. You don't want to make the mistake of searching for jobs overseas and then you can't get there unless you are intentional about going overseas. So as you are searching, make sure that you are local. You are searching local if that's a job that you are wanting local. Updating your profile. Those who can go to LinkedIn, you'll see that there is a profile that is usually needed. Guys, even on Facebook today, you can search for jobs. I know most of us are on Facebook and we are also Facebook just for social issues, but you can still make use of the tool. It's very effective. You can also leave your profile there, and every time a job within your category pops out, they will inform you. And you always with your phone, you don't even have to sit on the computer, and then you can see what is coming up. If I'm looking for jobs within the psychological field, every time there is a new listing, I will get a pop-up and they will let me know where is this job, what do they want, and how much is it that they are offering, and all those things. When can I submit my CV and all those things. Create a spreadsheet to note the jobs you have applied for, so that you don't keep applying for the same job all over again. These search engines, they will all usually advertise similar or same jobs. You don't want to keep applying for the same job a lot of times. If you applied once for that job, you need to apply for different other jobs. If it's your time and they like what they see on your CV, they will contact you. You don't have to bombard them with different engines with different for the same job. You don't need to submit your CV for the same job with different engines. You might also choose to set up a professional email account. We all have emails, and sometimes these emails, they are flooded with junk emails because we use it for everything. I have 3 emails as we speak. I have one for myself for personal issues, I have one for work at UNISA, and I have one for just my other business issues. So have that one that you know is not going to be, what is this, filled with junk emails and things that are not important, so that when you do provide your email to recruiters, to employers, you know that you will find all your information at ease in one place. Thanks. We can move to the next. I already spoke about where you can look. Okay, you go to Google, you type in job searching engines, and then all this career junctions, these platforms will come up. Just try. The most popular is LinkedIn right now. Just go to LinkedIn, familiarize yourself with the application, leave your profile there, leave your CV there. It will also link you up with other people who are in the same field or interested in the same careers that you are interested in, so that you can have a nice chat about this and that, should you require to do so. Use a recruitment agency to help you find a position that suits you. Also, just go to Google, type in recruitment agencies in South Africa. You must always state that in South Africa, and check which one speaks to you, and then leave your CV with them. They can help you also find a job, but you need to be aware that if you do find a job via a recruitment agency, there's a percentage that they're going to need from that salary that is advertised, but they will tell you all those things. Sometimes that's the best way to go to find somebody to help you find a job, and then once you are in, and then you get the hang of working, you can go solo and find a job on your own, should you need to move from that one that you were helped by a recruiter to find. Attend the careers fair at UNISA, whether it's virtual or it's face-to-face. When there is a careers fair, every student gets an SMS. They are advised to come and form part, so that you can meet these recruiters sometimes, ask relevant questions that probably us as UNISA staff may not have answers to, and mingle with other students also in your field and speak about this job hunting and searching, so that you can see if you are on the right track, see what others are doing out there if you are on the similar track. It's very important, because these careers fairs are organized with you as students in mind. We are not just doing them because we want to tick the box. We want to do them so that we support you as you are about to exit university. Us at the Career Development Center, DCCD, we care about students before they come in, while they are in, and just before they get out, and even when they are out as alumni, we from time to time do contact them. There's another one that is popular with the government. It's KETA, the KETA website. There is the web page there. You can go there, and then they will ask you, are you a student? Are you an employer? Are you a recruiter? Are you searching for a job? Familiarize yourself with that web page and see what the website has for you. It's a very good one. We use it as counselors as well to make informed decisions about your careers as we guide you towards relevant careers as you are studying with us. Yes, thank you. Next. I spoke about websites. I spoke about forming professional associations. Sign up for daily or weekly job alerts by email as well. Some in this job search agency or LinkedIn, your career junctions, they will say, if you want us to inform you about jobs within your field, give us your email, and then every time there's a new job within your career field of interest, we will inform you via email. And they do so religiously. I am one who has asked for them to keep me alert. I know I get this alerts on a daily basis, actually, not even weekly. Now, this bullet is very important, guys. Sometimes, unemployment is unemployment rates are very high in South Africa, especially graduate unemployment. It's not as simple as before that you knew, or after completing a qualification, you would spend maybe 4 to 6 months and get a job. It's not longer like that. It takes a little bit of time. Sometimes it takes a year or 2 or even 3. So it's very important to just go and ask, physically just walk into a company. Reaching out to companies. I'm on the 4th bullet there on this slide. And speak to someone from HR. If you don't find HR there where possible, speak to the manager Explain to them who you are, find out about when will they be hiring, where can you look, do they have a web page where you can search, where you can look for vacancies, and how often do they hire, when do they think they will have a position for somebody who is a graduate like yourself. Just to talk, it helps. It helps to go and speak to people. Find out whether you are a good fit for the job by requesting informational interviews with someone working in the field that interests you. What am I meaning by this? For example, myself, I'm a psychologist. Somebody who is interested to becoming a counselor or a psychologist can make an appointment with one of us as counselors at UNISA, the one closest to you. Ask to come and speak to us. Let's talk more about this field of counseling. If you are in doubt, if you need more information, if you want to see if you are in the right track and if you are interested in the right field, talk to people. If it's not us and you know somebody somewhere, please make an appointment and speak to this person. All right. Networking, the last bullet from the last slide leads us to networking. Meet people. When there is a seminar you know of, go there and talk to people. At social events, be careful though that you don't bother people with job searching and job things. You will see the type of social event that you are attending. If you can throw in a question or two to somebody you know maybe is in your field of interest, or just be professional about it and set up an appointment and say, hey, still at a social event, and say, look, I don't want to talk about jobs here, but can I make an appointment to come and see you so that you can help me with questions that I have regarding a particular position I've seen, or regarding the field of work that I want to get into, since I see that you are in the same field. Let them know that you are looking for a job and you want to work in a certain industry, and then schedule to talk to them. They will be glad, I'm sure, to share a thing or two with you. CV writing. This CV is yours. It's about you, but not your personal things, only as they pertain to academics, okay, and work experience. Let's not forget that. So as somebody who is coming from university, your CV cannot be more than 3 pages max. I would say 2 pages, honestly, but if it has to be longer than 2 pages, not more than 3 pages max. It needs to be an updated CV, a current, like it needs to address things that you have done in the past year or two. Don't use the same CV you've been using for the past 5 years back. No, 2 or 1 year back, it's fine. Because maybe there are things that you volunteered into and then we didn't know about them in the past year or two. I prefer that you start with your current information. Don't start with your old information. As far as your education and work history, education will be, if you are still studying, you say currently completing a BA psychology degree, okay, and then you go to your any other thing that you completed, and then until matric. Education must include all courses taken to date. Okay, let me rather say majors, because we don't want a long CV. Just your majors. In psychology, what are your majors that you are doing? We need to find out all the psychology modules that you are doing. If you are a psychology student, they need to be shown there in your CV. I shouldn't ask myself if you did counseling 1501 when you were still a first year student. It should show that first year, these are the counseling modules that I did. Second year, counseling modules. Third year, counseling modules. Your work history must include a start and an end date so that an employer, recruiter knows how long you worked in that particular position. And your reasons for leaving, it's very important. Some people were not good They did not have a good conduct at work, so they got chased out. And we need to know as recruiters, because we don't want to inherit the same problem that the past employer inherited. You need to tell us why you left. If it is because you found another job, you can say that you applied and find a better position for your own career growth, or if the contract ended, or whatever the reason. Pay attention to detail, especially contact details. Your contacts must be correct, people. You can't miss a number there, so that when people call you, they find you. Your email address must be correct, so please double check those contacts. It's very important on your CV. To include a photo or not, honestly speaking, it doesn't matter to other recruiters, but I would just say don't put it in the reason. This is my thinking as a human being. You put a photo there. For me, it's like you are, for example, if they say, hey, we don't want to hire a male person, you've already put yourself on a disadvantage by putting that photo there. They're not going to call you for an interview. Sometimes, even if they say they want a male person, but if somebody invites you for an interview and you go there and you market yourself, they might just even forget that they're looking for a male after all, because they gave you an opportunity to come and market yourself, and they were impressed with what you had to, the way you sold yourself to them. And then you can even convince them to forget about finding a male for the position, especially if they don't find that male. So if you put in your photo there, you are already saying to the employer to say, don't call this one, or whatever, whatever the politics that they have regarding recruiting a person for that position is concerned. So don't give them that. Let them, I know you did say you are female or whatever, but don't, it's enough. You don't have to put a photo there. Write an executive, but if you put it, it's not a train smash. Write an executive summary or cover letter. In your cover letter, you tell the employer, what is it that you are looking for in this job? What do you want out of your career? What are your passions? What is your personality? All this in relation to the advertised job. The job that they are advertising is to find a career counselor to come and counsel students. I'm making an example of where I am. If you are going to tell us about what we are looking for in a job, it must be related to giving career guidance to students. And what do you want out of career? How do you want to impact the lives of the people that you are going to be counseling? Your passion has to be dealing with counseling people holistically. Even if it's not career, you can still talk about counseling them from personal and other issues that might be of a challenge to them, so that they can become well in their studies as students, so that they can pass well. Personality, how is my personality going to add value into me becoming a counselor? It is good for me to talk about me as liking to communicate well with others and listening well and paying attention to what people say, because it relates to counseling. But I'm not going to talk about how I love to travel as part of my personality, because it has nothing to do with counseling. So whatever that you write on a cover letter and the CV has to be in relation to the career that you like to get yourself in, or the position that you're applying for. Nothing personal. Double check your spelling and your grammar, guys. We type things on Word. You can check for grammar and spelling. You don't want to tell the employer that you don't pay attention to such things. Already you are telling them something negative about you. So please make sure that your cover letter and your CV is professionally written with the proper English. We use English, South African English or United Kingdom English. We don't use USA English, people. So please make sure that as you are writing your CVs, you set the language on UK English or South African English. Take time to write thoroughly. This is your first contact with your employer. So your CV needs to be impressing your employer so that they can want to know more about who you are, so that they can eventually invite you for an interview. Your CV is your first contact point of selling yourself and marketing yourself. Give your CV to someone you trust to double check it for you if you have time to do that. Please, just to see all is in order, spellings and all those things that I'm telling you about. Format, the length, information that you put in there. As well, this day and age, you don't talk about your religious views if they are not related to the job. You don't talk about those things, because what if myself as a recruiter, I am Muslim and I prefer Muslim people, people who are coming from a religious point of view of Islam. It's not important. Don't write those things. It's not related. Leave it out. If they want to ask you about religion, you will find out when you get to that interview. So it seems this is where I end my job searching. Before I go, I want to also there's this web page that I have been just playing around with. It's called Business Tech. I find it very, very informative. The Business Tech, you just type in there. For example, you can type in marketable careers in South Africa. It will give you that information spot on. If you want to find out how much does a counselor earn if they are straight from school, they will give you the salary ranges. You can ask Business Tech anything. You can also look for jobs there and leave your CV as well there. So it's a very, very good search engine as well to use. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tipe. I'm sure we have a lot of questions from our attendees, whom I refer to as the VIPs. I know I would have questions because, wow, you know, when you receive that regrettable letter to say, we're sorry to inform you that you were not taken, you know, those kind of things. But then other than that, we have questions. Let's just show by raising of hands, and I will take 5 now. You can unmute and ask the question, Desiree.
Oh, hello, everybody. So my question is in relation to CV writing. When we're writing our CVs, you know, there's this ATS thing that recruiters and companies use. So which is the best platforms where we can write our CVs so that they can be compatible with the ATS?
I'm Tolan from the Department of Labor. I'm sorry to just cut in, but I'm actually gonna just refer to the ATS question. So the ATS software is an applicant tracking system. So what the ATS does is that it gives the employer an opportunity to actually see from the list of CVs that they actually got from potential employees, what skills do they actually have. So it's a built-in system that can actually track whether the person has the right kind of skills for the job that they have posted. But this tracking system is done automatically. So if you have a large number of candidates that are applying for a job, this ATS system will actually, from the minute they receive the CVs, it will actually track who is the most likely best candidate for the job. So a lot of companies, yes, they are using the ATS system as a way to actually filter out the people that do not meet the requirements of the job. I hope that that answers the question regarding the ATS software system.
Thank you so much. Is there a specific format that is required for our students or for one to write this CV so that the ATS can pick it up easily? Is there a specific outline?
So in terms of this system, it's actually an internal system. So the person cannot really do anything except they need to make sure that when they do their CV, there are themes and keywords that are linked to the job description. That's how the ATS system can actually pick up their CV. So if the person's CV does not have the themes or the keywords that are linked to the job description, it will not pick them up. So then you find that a person loses out on an opportunity because they did not put the right keywords for the ATS to pick up.
Thank you so much for that. Can you make us an example of a keyword that will, a skill that will go with a keyword, for example?
Okay, so let's say it's an HR management post, but then they are looking for a person with that has done payroll. You understand?
Yes.
So if a person's CV does not have anything to do with payroll or being involved in payroll, they might actually lose out.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes. Thank you so much.
So it's all in the keywords and going over the job description and putting in, aligning the job description with the CV.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I see there's a hand from Fatwani there.
Yes, colleague. Thank you very much. I think Ms. Namo has nailed it. The other keywords that they look for, it's a number of experience that some jobs will tell you that we need somebody who's got 5 years experience. So it's part of the keywords. So if you have less than 5 years, you are chucked out. So therefore, it's the honor lies with the candidate who's applying for the job. They must read the advertisement of what they're looking for, because anything that is not related to the job, it will make them to be not favorable to be given an opportunity to go for interview. This limit the time wasters who are just applying this for anything that can fall from the tree. It doesn't work like that. In this ATS, there comes the principle of trying to only look for less candidates which meet the position and whom they can easily identify and interview. Unlike when you have got 5,000 CV, they are looking for internship and so on, and the position need only 10 people. So that one will limit them. You may find out that there are only 17 who qualifies. The rest of them don't qualify. So therefore, they will only deal with the qualifying candidates. So therefore, our students must only also look at what does the job advertisements look for, and they align their CV to the job requirement, because the ATS only specifically look for the job the specification that has been laid down in the job requirement. Thank you.
Thank you, colleague. That is clear. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Not only do we understand, we are getting educated today. Colleagues, there is a question in the chats. It says, I'm just going to take the ones that appear now and move to the next presenter. The first one is from Junior Karabo Sambal, who says that, can you please see an example of a professional CV?
Okay, I will send you mine now, and then maybe you can show it to them.
That will be lovely. Thank you so much. We'll pack it aside for now. And then the next one says, good morning. My question is, do I create a spreadsheet on my documents or file using my personal email?
No, the spreadsheet is just for you as a person to keep track on what you are doing, of what you are doing. It's not for anybody else. It's just for you to see where have you applied, which job search engines have you left your CV in, and all those things, so that you don't duplicate the work that you are doing. So it's not important that you use an email for your own spreadsheet.
All right, thank you for that response, Ms. Tipe. There is a last question in the chat as well from Ola. Says, good morning. I just need to know if I applied for a position 3 months back and was closed and I was not contacted for interview, and the same position is advertised. Is it ideal to apply for it for the second time, or must I just assume I'm not the right candidate for the position? Or must just try again?
They must just try again. Sometimes it's that maybe when the position was advertised, the recruiter or the HR people, they did not follow the right protocols to advertise, so the position was retracted, and it needs to be done correctly. So it has nothing to do with you usually. Just apply again. You don't have anything to lose but everything to gain anyway. So yes, please do apply again.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Tipe. Yes, let's just keep trying to apply again and again until they call you for that position. That will be all. That's all of our questions. Thank you so much. Hey, I think you provided clarity on some of the questions that I personally had when coming to this workshop, but now I'm clarified. Thank you so much, Ms. Tipe.
Thank you, ma'am.
Without any waste of time, let me call on to the next speaker from the Department of Labor, who was just given a response not so long ago, Ms. Tkolang Namo. And she will just briefly share the interview, how to write a cover letter, and then she'll just share the services that the Department of Labor actually offers that we have no knowledge about, or maybe some people actually have knowledge about, but some do not have any knowledge about.
Good morning, colleagues. I'm very sorry about this morning, but I'm very glad to be here today. So what's important about the cover letter when you are a university graduate is that you need to be very, very wary that you do not actually put yourself as if you are an expert in the field, but you need to be trying to actually find a way of telling the employer that as you are entering into this field, what is it that you are actually going to do, and what is it that you have learned, maybe academically, that is actually going to benefit the company. But it's important that you do not come up saying as if you are an expert, because at this point, some of the people you might find that you don't have any experience when you're actually applying for the job. So it's important that you come across as a person that is actually willing to learn. Yes, you must come across as a person that is willing to learn. And there where it says you need to focus on the activities and the responsibilities. It's actually relating to the things that you might have done in the past that is also related to the job. For example, let's say that you had volunteered whilst you were studying. So such an activity is quite important to add to show the employer that you are actually a person that works hard and you are a person that is willing to learn and give your all to actually do the job. And then you also need to emphasize on the ways that you can add value to the employer, because the employer does not just want a person that is going to just work. They want to know that when I do hire this person is gonna take the company somewhere. This person is gonna actually bring us something new. So this is where creativity also comes in. say, what is it that I can create? What is it that I can show the employer that I can do that is different from what is being done already? So that is also very important. So it goes back to also showing knowledge about the company. So this is not just about you knowing where the company is actually based, but it also talks to you knowing about what are the things that are actually been happening about the company. If there's been a newspaper clip about the company, show that you have seen something about this company and you took notice about what is actually happening in the company. It can be about some new product maybe that they want to add to the company. Show that you actually took cognizance of what they were saying in the information about what they want to add. And the other important thing about the cover letter is that you need to proofread thoroughly. And the reason for this is that the employer is going to get your CV, your cover letter is going to be on the front. And then when the employer sees that, oh, my friend is struggling to just go through the cover letter and see if there are any errors and things like that. So if they see that, for them already is the thing that this person will not pay attention to detail. So it's very important that, like Ms. Tipe said, if you have to give it to somebody else to check it for you, because sometimes when you are reading through your own work, you might actually miss a few things here and there. The other important thing about the cover letter is that we must not use the one size fits all. Because if you're going to do that, you might find, again, going back to the ATS system, you might find that you're missing out on the important keywords and the phrases that are actually linked to the job description. So the employer is going to get this cover letter, and already if they can see that you are missing on what is actually the requirement of the job. So the one size fits all, I think it's one of the most important things, is that sometimes you might feel like the job is similar to the last one and just say, I'm just gonna put it as I put it the last time. It's gonna show to the employer, and to them it says you're not really sure about yourself or what you are doing, or you are already showing them that you're not gonna take initiative in the things that you're going to do. So it's very important to show that you understand the job description and your CV aligns to the job description, and your cover letter must also show that you actually understand what the job requires. Now, without taking a lot of time, I want to just add on the services of the Department of Labor. So the Department of Labor has what we call public employment services. So these employment services, they are actually free for the public. So what we offer is that a person can actually register on the ESSA system, which is the Employment Services of South Africa system. This is where a person can actually put their profile on the system and they are able to search for jobs. But if there are companies also hiring, they are able to actually see the person's profile. So it's also very important that you add your information on the system so that the employers can actually, when they search for people with a particular skill, that they can actually also find. And then some of the systems that the services that the Department of Labor offers is that if you are person that has an interview coming up, and maybe you are struggling on what is it that you are required to say at the interview, or how to dress up for the interview, you can come through to the department to see a career counselor, and the career counselor will help you with the interview skills. They can also help you on how to present yourself during the interview session. Those things are very important when you are actually out there looking for employment. And you have only one chance to present yourself, and you need to do it in the best way possible first time. Another service that is actually offered is that if you want to write a CV and you have a job description, but you're just not sure on how to align your CV with the job description, you are allowed to approach the Department of Labor to help you. A person will sit down with you and help you align your skills with the job requirements. And then it's also important to know that if, for instance, you are in the process of changing a career, and maybe you are confused about what is it that I want to do going forward, you are also allowed to contact one of our career counselors to come sit down with you and see how going forward you can change your career and look for something that you feel will best suit you at the time. So all these services are free to the public. So even as a student, you are allowed to contact one of us and actually say, I am struggling with this. How can you help me? So those are the services that we offer at the Department of Labor. So should you need any further information, you are allowed to contact us and will be of service.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lang. I'm sure there are a lot of questions actually from our attendees regarding the services the Department of Labor offers, as well as the cover letter as well on how to write it, especially for graduates. Let me just look at the chat as well. It's a question from Karen Wright. How do we go about making an appointment to see one of the counselors at the Department of Labor?
Okay, I think on one of the slides, I had added our email addresses. So we can be contactable on our email addresses. So you can drop an email and then I will contact you either by telephone to say, I got your email, let's talk, what is it that you need help with? So there is a slide with our contact details if a person needs assistance.
All right, thank you so much. I'm just showing the slides now, and then maybe they can see it from there. And the other question again is, what is the website again to check the services?
Okay, so what you can do is to go on the Department of Labor.gov.za, and then there's what we call online services. So once the person has gone to the website of the Department of Labor, there is a link for online services. So once a person gets there, they will be able to first start with the access to what we call Employment Services of South Africa, which is ESSA. And then once they are registered on ESSA, they are able to also have access to other services that we offer at the Department of Labor. So another important thing is that even as students, they are also allowed to send through their CVs at the Department of Labor. And then if they send through their CVs, we are also able to do the process for them, enter them on the system, register them on the system. So this is just for people who are unable to do it on their own. We are able to register the person on the system.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yes.
Lam. And then let me just read it for you. It says that our cover letter should consist of how many paragraphs from Kamkhele Mokwakeng?
Okay, so the cover letter, it should not be long. So the standard number of words should be around 250 to 300 words. So the person can start off with a first paragraph introducing themselves, who they are, and then the second paragraph would be on what skills they actually have, and then the third paragraph would be to say, this is what I'm going to add as a value to the company. Now, the third one is where you give motivation to say, why should this company hire me? What am I going to offer? So that is your punchline, the closing one, the important one. So it's where a person now puts it to the employer to say, what else is in the CV? So that's very important. Just short and sweet.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Tolang, for availing yourself, even in the midst of all the struggles with the connectivity challenges as well. Yes, you just got a confirmation from Ms. Paula or Mr. Paula, sorry, to say that you have answered their question. Colleagues, when I first started, I indicated that I'm not going to be facilitating this event alone. I'll be working with Ms. Mpasela, who's going to be taking over from now, seeing us through up until the end of the race. Ms. Mpasela, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon. Good morning. Good morning, and a very warm greeting to each and every one of you. As Ms. Sharon has introduced me, my name is Mahlatse Mpasele from UNISA Sunnyside Counseling Unit, and I will be your program director for the remainder of this workshop. Thank you to Ms. Norma and to Ms. Chipe for their informative presentations. Now let's carry on with our program. Our next speaker, we have a representative from PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is a company that provides industry-focused assurance, advisory, and tech services to public, private, and government clients. They will be talking about interview preparation and graduate opportunities. Please help me welcome Ms. Shabalala from PwC.
Thank you everyone for making the time to join us at PwC. I'm so excited to speak to everyone here. So just to give a bit of an introduction to myself, my name is Palesa Chabalala, and I form part of the National Graduate Recruitment Team or Talent Acquisition Team at PwC, and I'm based at the Waterfall office in Midrand. I enjoy cooking, I love exploring our beautiful country, and I love watching TV or reality TV shows. That's one of my favorite things to do in my downtime. And I know that we're not allocated a lot of time for this particular presentation, but I wanted to give you as much information as possible or relevant information as possible. And so for those of you who may not be familiar, PwC is a global professional services firm in over 157 countries, offering assurance, tax, and advisory services. However, before I get into all the meaty stuff, I just wanted to play just a short video clip about our new global program, which is the new equation. So have a look, and then we can talk again after that.
We're taught that 1 + 1 = 2. Simple, right? But today's world isn't simple. So, what happens if we look at it from a new angle? Could we make something greater? bring together human ingenuity, passion, and experience with the latest technology, we start to make something more. Something we can see in people's lives and feel in the world around them. Building trust for today and tomorrow. And that's the thing. We all know the math, but we need a new way to put it together. Which means we don't just find answers. We never stop looking for them. A passionate community of solvers, coming together in unexpected ways, creating new solutions for a new day. That's the new equation.
Awesome, really cool, right? So basically, the new equation is PwC's new global strategy. We want to be the most trusted and relevant professional services business in the world. It is all about being human-led and tech-powered. And so just moving on to our next slide, PwC's purpose is to build trust in society and solve important problems. Our purpose and values help us to remain relevant so people feel that PwC is the right brand to be associated with. This sets an expectation of experience, so this sets an expectation that the experience that someone has with PwC as a brand is to build an image we want to have in the market. PwC is built on firm values that all employees should show commitment to every day. What I love about these values is that it doesn't really relate necessarily only just to work or our professional lives, but it also resonates with our personal values as well. We act with integrity, and that means we speak up for what is right, especially when it feels difficult and doing things as if our own personal reputation were at stake. We make a difference. We stay informed and ask questions about the future and the world that we live in. Oh, sorry about that. And then we care as well. We take the time to try and understand every individual and what is important to them. And we also recognize the value that each person contributes. We work together, we collaborate and share relationships and knowledge so that we can create a diverse range of perspectives and ideas from each other. And finally, we reimagine the possible. This speaks to having an open mind to learn and challenge ourselves to new possibilities. So at PwC, we offer a variety of graduate opportunities. Of course, the Chartered Accountancy or the CA stream being one of our largest stream, but we do also offer a variety of other programs as well. So as you might see on the slide that I'm showing above, it just shows a brief summary of some of the programs that we offer. So as I would have mentioned earlier, we do offer assurance, tax, and advisory services. So under the assurance umbrella at PwC, some of the graduate programs would include SIPA, where we look for students or candidates who've completed a qualification in either financial accounting or financial accounting management or even taxation. And we also have other CA and non-CTA programs, as well as IT risk assurance and CREA. And as you can see, we also have learnerships or graduate programs in the site umbrella as well, or the tax umbrella. This is where we look for postgraduate qualifications in tax. And then in advisory, we look for a wide range of students coming from different disciplines of study. So as you can see on the screen, in advisory, we've got a program called Foundation for the Future. We've got one that's called Edge or Deals, and we've got one that's also called Strategy N. So for the majority of our programs, we do ideally look for students who have completed honors level or above in their studies. But of course, we'll talk more about that later when I show you how to apply for roles at PwC. Okay, so in the next segment, I'm going to be talking about communicating with impact, which is going to give you a bit of an idea of how you can go about preparing or what to expect when you're going into an interview. So as you might know, in the last 2 years, we have realized that the way that we would have communicated prior to the lockdown may not necessarily translate directly into the virtual space and vice versa. It is important to be impactful when engaging in a virtual environment. And today we have a few tips and tricks to help you on how to navigate with this. So I've got my colleagues Gina and Busi joining me for this part of the session. Busi and Gina, I don't know if you guys are available. Can you just say hi?
Hi, everyone.
Awesome, thanks so much. So like I would have mentioned earlier, it is important to understand how to listen and respond in a virtual environment. So today we're going to use 2 dialogues or 2 examples to display how important these skills are. So after each dialogue, we will give you, I'm sorry about that, we will give you a chance to share your thoughts with us. And our first dialogue is based on an interview taking place virtually. So this is an online interview, right? I will be the interviewer, and my colleague Busi will be the candidate or interviewee, and we're going to pretend that her name is Desiree. So Busi, are you ready?
Yes, sure, Palisa.
Okay, perfect. So good morning, Desiree, and welcome to your interview today. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So Busi, or Desiree rather, can you please just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm here for an interview, so what would you like to know?
Maybe you can tell me a little bit about who you are.
I don't know if you have read my CV or not, because everything is there.
Okay. So tell me, what would you say motivates you?
I love numbers, and I want to do a job that also makes me a lot of money. That motivates me to work hard so I can have nice things. I like shoes and handbags.
Okay, thank you for that. So why do you think that you would be a good fit for the firm?
So I need a place to do my articles, and I know the firm takes in a lot of students for training contracts. So this would be a good fit for me. You have a need, and I can supply that to the firm because I need a training contract. So it's a win-win.
Okay, Desiree, thank you so much for answering my questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. What is the salary and when do I get a response?
That will be discussed should you be offered a contract, and please expect a response within 4 weeks. Thank you so much for attending the interview, and we will be in touch. All right. So that was just a bit of role play. But now that you've listened to the dialogue, right, we want you to use the chat function. Mahlati, I don't know if the students can use the chat function just to give us their thoughts about what they thought about the interview.
Yes, Ms. Chavalala, the chat box is available for attendees to engage with you.
Okay. So I'm just gonna try and make my way to the comments. So guys, yes, please just give me your thoughts on how you found that interview. Okay, that's okay. Maybe we can move on just so that we're not wasting too much time. But in essence, what the takeaway from this whole thing is don't be too casual when you're in an interview or a virtual interview, regardless of whether it's in person or even if it's virtual. So please do remember that it is an interview and you need to bring your best foot forward, and practice your answers to common interview questions as well. Prepare your answers to the common questions like, tell me about yourself, or why are you interested in this role, and why are you looking at joining our company? The idea is to communicate quickly, but also in an effective way, who you are and what value you bring to the table. And, that kind of gives an opportunity for you to sell yourself to the company or the recruiter. And then my next tip for you is to use the STAR method or the STAR method in answering questions. So prepare to be asked about times or scenarios or examples in the past where you used a specific skill, and tell a story with a clear situation. So STAR specifically stands for situation, task, action, and result. My next tip for you is to prepare smart questions for your interviewers as well. Don't be like Desiree, right? Interviews are a two-way is a two-way street. So employers expect you to ask questions. They want to know who you are and if you're taking the job seriously. So just ask questions, and that's going to show that you are interested in the position. So plan your interview attire the night before. Yes, it might be a virtual conversation, but your first impressions do count. So plan your schedule so that you can arrive at least 5 or even 10 minutes early to the interview, so that if you're having any technical issues or whatever the case might be, that you are ahead of those issues and that you're able to kind of deal with them accordingly. So treat everyone you encounter with respect. Practice good manners and body language. Don't be like we see in the example that we gave you earlier. Practice confidence, accessible body language from the moment you enter the building. Before the interview, take a deep breath and exhale slowly to manage feelings of anxiety, and this will encourage self-confidence. And then tie your answers back to your skills and accomplishments. Within any question or answer, it is important that you tie your background to the job, providing examples of solutions and results you've achieved. Use every opportunity to address the requirements. All right, so now that you have experienced what a virtual interview would be like, now let's take you through a scenario rather where you have been hired and you are required to participate in a virtual meeting. So my colleague, both Busi and Gina, are going to join me for this segment as well, where Busi will be playing the role of the manager, Gina and myself will be playing the team members. So Busi, take it away. You can start off here.
Good afternoon. How is everyone doing today? I trust that the day has been productive. Balisa, how is your son feeling today?
Hi, Busi. Yes, he's feeling much better. Thank you so much for asking.
Gina, how are you doing?
Hi, Busi. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking.
Okay, great. I'm glad everyone is good. Let's start the meeting. I would like to go through the agenda points that I've sent to you prior to the meeting. First on my list is the completion of timesheets. The due date for timesheets is the last day of the month. So, Balisa, please advise if your timesheets are up to date.
Yes, they are, Busi. They are up to date.
Gina?
Busi, not currently. However, I plan to complete them on Friday, by Friday.
Great. Thank you, team. Second on my agenda points, as you would have seen, our client needs an update on the work in progress. Gina, could you please provide us with a status update on your section of the work?
Okay, Busi, I have received all the relevant information. Actually, received those yesterday, and I have already started to compile my report. I will be finished by tomorrow afternoon, and I will also be scheduling meetings with you to review the report before I sign it off.
Thank you. Balisa?
Busi, I've experienced delays on my end due to having network issues, which I have communicated to you and the client. They are fine with me to hand in my report 2 days after the expected due date. And I've contacted IT as well, who is assisting me, and they are working on my query.
Oh, thank you both. Looks like we're on track. I really appreciate your feedback and hard work. Keep it up and have a great afternoon. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks so much. You too.
Bye.
All right, so after listening to that scenario, again, if you can please just use the chat function just to tell us what you thought about the meeting that took place. What was your thought or response to that? Oh wow, sorry guys. I'm seeing that you guys responded about the questions that I asked earlier about what you thought about Desiree. But yes, you guys are absolutely right. The interview most likely is not going to get the job. She didn't seem interested. She just wanted to know about the salary only, and she was not being professional. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I feel like the interviewee was rude. Absolutely, I agree with that. And then Kola says the interviewee is more about her likings, doesn't really care about the company. Absolutely. Prince says she was not professional and she was rude. No one would want to work with her, right? So it's important to keep up that professional, demeanor and just treat everyone with respect. I think that's what's important. All right, so I can see more are coming through. So Kifila asked the questions, how do you tackle the question about tell us about yourself? So my tip and my opinion with regards to answering that question, I think just try and give as much information as possible. Don't give too much unnecessary information, but I think just give background about why you feel like you would be right for the role. So the way that I feel like the right answer would be is if someone would have said, for example, this is where they grew up, this is why they studied what they studied, and this is why they are applying for this particular position. So be professional, but also just give a little bit, make it light, and just say about things that you like to do outside of work or school. So if you're someone who likes cooking, just bring that up because you are able to relate to people that way. And so I think that's my advice on how to answer a question like that. Okay, Alex asked the question or made a comment. Why don't they introduce writing instead of talking for people who have anxiety? As you know the answers, but because of mini panel, then you start to lose control. Yeah, I know what that's like, Alex. And I think for everyone, our confidence isn't the same. And some people are more confident in writing than speaking. But I guess it also just depends on the company and your profession. So for us at PwC, for example, a lot of the students come in into client-facing kind of environment. So we do need our students to be able to kind of like speak confidently and articulate themselves. So I know that you might be, having anxiety about talking, but I think maybe just practicing alone in the mirror, and I know it might seem silly, but I think it does really help you just to kind of like have conversations with people and put yourself out there. I think that will build your confidence. I hope that answers the question. Okay, I think that we're going off track. So basically what I was asking, I will come back to the questions, Mahlati. But yeah, just to kind of finish off on the presentation at hand, I don't see any comments about, but Tsakani does say the meeting was professional, communication was clear, and they gave the response. Yes, absolutely right, Tsakani, you're right about that. And so basically, in a nutshell, just think about how you are engaging with people. Just because you're virtual, it doesn't mean that you don't have to be professional, right? So here are a list of useful tips for virtual meetings. So if you are chairing a meeting, set an agenda for the meeting in advance so that your peers can prepare prior to the meeting. This will save time and provide clear direction during the meeting. My second tip is if you are required to have your camera on, try and dress appropriately depending on what your audience are, or who your audience is rather. So ensure that your background is neat and lighting is appropriate. Log in, and we spoke about that earlier, but try and log in at least 5 to 10 minutes earlier so that if you are having any connectivity issues, you're able to kind of resolve them quickly. And announce your arrival by perhaps typing in your greeting or greeting in a chat box, or even unmuting and just saying hi to your colleagues. And then also, as the lead, start with an icebreaker. So that you are able to kind of have open dialogue with your audience, right? So people do get nervous, and I think having icebreakers and kind of having casual conversations before the meeting starts does really help. And then only turn off your microphone when you need to speak to ensure that background noise is minimized. Be mindful of everyone's schedule and stay within the agreed time. Always give your full attention and refrain from checking your phone or emails while you are in virtual meetings. And always wrap up the meeting by mentioning the action points from the meeting and then thanking your peers for their attendance. So this concludes the Communicating with Impact session. Thank you for your participation, and I will get back to the questions in the chat box. All right, cool. So now I just want to introduce you guys to some of my team members. I know that you would have briefly heard my colleagues Gina and Busi in the background, but I did just want to kind of give you guys the opportunity to maybe even take pictures or take screenshots of the graduate recruitment team at PwC. So on the screen, we've got here my colleagues, Artie and Yaku now. Artie is actually based in Cape Town and Yaku's here in Johannesburg in the Waterfall office. So if you'd like to, I would suggest just taking a picture or a screenshot of the slide. If you have any questions or if you want to reach out to us, then you're more than welcome to do that. And then I'm also introducing you to the Joburg Talent Acquisition team. So we've got my colleagues here, Karabo, we've got here Nondumiso, we've got here Gina that was speaking earlier, and this is Palesa, myself, and Steffi Power. So guys, please do take pictures, and take down our contact information if you'd like to get a hold of any one of us, and we'll be able to assist you. And this team specifically sits in Johannesburg. And on the next slide, these are my colleagues sitting in Durban, Emalahleni, Nelspruit, and Pietermaritzburg. So the recruiter sitting in Durban is Serena, and the recruiter sitting in East London is Liesel Yon. And then in Cape Town and Bloemfontein, our colleagues sitting in the Cape Town, Robertson, Stellenbosch, and Worcester areas are my colleagues Kaniko Peterson, Tigizwa, as well as Bradley. And in Bloemfontein is my colleague Busi, who you would have heard from earlier. So I'll give you guys a chance to take pictures or just take down their contact details, just in case you'd like to reach out to us. Okay, perfect. So lastly on the agendas, I just wanted to talk to you guys just about how you apply for vacancies at PwC. So now that you've heard so much information about the firm and some of the programs that we offer, and you've also had the chance to meet the team, I just wanted to let you guys about how to apply. So now you can actually apply for vacancies on our job portal. So I'm actually going to put a link to our company website or the career website where you'd be able to apply for vacancies. So what you need to do before registering is just register your profile and your CV before you can select your program or programs. You can actually apply for more than one. And what is important is that you need to have your ID copy, you need your grade 12 results, you need your academic record, as well as your current proof of registration in order to upload your CV. And once you've applied, we will then screen accordingly based on the needs of each program, right? Because they all have their own requirements. So it's not a one size fits all. Once we have screened your application, you will then, and if you meet the academic criteria, the next steps will then be included, like telephonic screening, a panel interview, and psychometric assessments. And then after that, then we will be able to give you feedback on your application and what the next steps are going forward. Okay, and you guys can take a picture of this slide as well. It is quite helpful. You can take a screenshot or a picture or write down all the information that you need. Yeah, and moving on to the next slide, I just wanted to kind of inform you guys about how you stay in touch with us using, or rather on our various social media platforms. There's always exciting content being shared, so please do follow us on Twitter, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining the session, everyone. I wish you all the best and stay safe. And if you have any questions, I'm still available for the next 10 minutes to answer any questions that you might have for me.
Thank you, Ms. Shabalala, for that informative presentation. I'm sure our attendees appreciate the graduate opportunities you have mentioned. And as for the role playing, it was absolutely helpful to see how to not conduct yourself in an interview.
Absolutely.
And thank you to Ms. Gina and Ms. Busisiwe for assisting you. So now we'll be going through the question and answer session. There's a question on the chat box and it says, do you have an age limit?
So no, we don't have an age limit necessarily, Kola. I think, of course, preference is going to be given to candidates who are younger than 35, if I'm not mistaken. But I wouldn't say that there is an age limit, but of course there's going to be preference for someone who's coming out of school or someone who's got like less than 2 years experience. But if you are a little bit older and a little bit more experienced, then of course then you are able to apply for roles that are for experienced hires that look for people with experience? I hope that answers the question.
Yes, I hope so too. We have a hand that's raised up. Ms. Camilla, do you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Ms. Chabalala.
Hi, Camilla.
My question is basically on the interview. You mentioned earlier on that an interview is basically a two-way streak. So I just want to understand what type of professional questions can you actually ask as the interviewee?
Okay, that's a good question. Thank you so much for that. So I think ask questions that I don't think it's necessary to ask questions just for the sake of asking questions, but I think some of the things that I would really suggest is maybe asking questions about, is this a new position? Was there someone who left the position prior to you guys advertising, for example? Or maybe you can ask about, you know, what the working conditions are, just in terms of like, is it a hybrid situation, or are people coming into the office every day, for example? Maybe you can ask about the culture as well. So what kind of culture is it? Is it more of like a, you know, you need to be micromanaged? I wouldn't necessarily use that word in an interview, but maybe just ask about like, what's the style of management rather from your direct employer, and maybe you can tell them how you prefer to be managed and how you like to work. So just ask questions about what the working environment is like, if there's any travel in the job. But I don't necessarily suggest asking questions for the sake of asking questions, but do ask questions that are going to show your interest, and avoid the salary question if possible. I hope that answers the question, Camila.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay. We have another question from Zakani. It says, morning, I am a first-year student. So is it possible to apply for a learnership?
Okay, so Zakani, a lot of the programs that we have are actually graduate programs, which means that we look for people who have completed either their undergrad, but ideally their honors or postgrad, right? So a lot of the programs that we have, and I think I would have mentioned it or touched on it a little bit, but a lot of the students that we take in at PwC would be students who go through like a CA or a chartered accountancy stream, and even for those students coming in, they've completed like CTA or an honors level of their study. So if you've got an honors, then we will definitely be able to help you. But if you're still an undergrad, then it's going to be a little bit of a tricky situation. But if you do have your undergrad and postgrad, then you're more than welcome to apply. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So when you said you guys consider an academic record, what type of marks roughly are you guys looking into?
So I can't see your name on the screen, but basically we look for it's really dependent on the programs that you're applying for. So I'll give you an example. For the CA stream or the chartered accountancy stream, we look for an average of at least 65%, and you need to have studied mathematical or maths core in high school as well. That's very important. And it's not necessarily that the same requirement for all the programs. So the other programs might be less, kind of strict on the academic requirements. For example, for Foundation for the Future, we can look at students who've got an average of about 60%, and then there are programs that are a little bit more stricter, like the deals or strategy, where they look for an overall average of at least 75%. So it is quite difficult to get into that program, but it is quite dependent on the graduate program that you're applying for. I hope that helps.
Thank you, it did.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. We have time for one more question, if anyone would like to pose a question. We have another question from a caller. It says, I am a final year student in administrative management and I only have retail experience. So what are my chances of getting a position like a office admin or administrative assistant?
Okay, Kola, this one is a little bit of a tough one for me to answer. However, I do think that with your background, and you said here you're interested in like an office admin or admin assistant role, I think that would not necessarily go through the graduate recruitment team. It will go through more experienced hires. And I know that they have their different requirements as well. So on the same link that I would have shared earlier, where I give you the link to where you apply for jobs, maybe you can just have a look and see if there are any vacancies for experienced people that might be relevant to you. But as far as an administrative assistant role goes in graduate, I mean, you could try. We've got a foundation for the future advert that's live on our website right now. So I think that if you tried putting your CV there, the relevant recruiter will screen your application just to go through and see if you meet the requirements. And then based on that, she will then reach out to you and maybe call you just to give you feedback or even send you an email with feedback.
Okay. Thank you. I hope that has answered your question. And thank you to Ms. Tabalala for engaging with our attendees. It was pretty helpful. I hope it was.
Okay, awesome, Mahlasi, thank you so much. But I also just wanted to remind everyone, just about if you're wanting to get in touch with us, I did have the slides up for the team members, so you're more than welcome to reach out to me, to myself, or anyone else on the screen, and we will help you as much as we can. Thanks, Mahlasi. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Okay, thank you to Ms. Tabalala. As the counseling unit, we pride ourselves in providing students with informative workshops such as this one. So we'd like to thank everyone for taking their time to attend this workshop and engaging in the chat box, asking questions and filling in the poll questions that were just launched. So for our last speaker, who will be giving an official closing. She is one of my colleagues. Ms. Kokezo Mononde is a trainee career guidance practitioner in UNISA Counseling Unit for the Gauteng region. Ms. Mononde, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mphahlele. As she has already introduced me, my name is Kokejo Mononde. I am a trainee career guidance practitioner at the Gauteng region here in the university. I would like to give a vote of thanks to Ms. Dipale, who welcomed us warmly at the beginning of the program, as well as Ms. Tamekwa, who laid a beautiful foundation of the purpose of the day. To our speakers, we extend a gratitude for the knowledge and expertise that you have imparted on us and for giving us the platforms that we can use to improve ourselves in the job market. I would like to also extend gratitude to our VIPs, which are the students and all of our guests. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and for giving us your time, for recognizing that you can improve yourself and make yourself more ready for the job market. I would also like to just thank you all for giving us your time. We value so much that you took time out to improve yourself and to engage and participate in this workshop. To my colleagues and everybody who was behind the scenes in the organization of this workshop, thank you so much. Your efforts do not go unnoticed. We are very thankful that we have guests who can engage with us and who are willing to improve themselves and help us improve in the services that we give here at UNISA. Thank you so much for joining us, and this is officially the closing of this workshop from myself, Kokejo Mononde, and I'm sure my colleagues. We thank you and have a wonderful day further.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mononde, for that warm closing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our event. From me and everyone here in the counseling unit, we appreciate your attendance and thank you. We may now exit the platform.